Have you ever found yourself ruminating, wondering how you ended up agreeing to something you initially didn't want? Have you questioned why certain conversations leave you feeling as if you're in a fog, doubting your own thoughts? It could be that you're being subtly manipulated without even realizing it. In this interconnected world, we're constantly interacting with different people, each with their own intentions and methods. Often these interactions are harmless or even enriching, but what happens when others' intentions become dark and their methods manipulative? Today we're delving into the complex and often hidden world of manipulation. This video isn't just a simple talk. It's a revelation, a journey towards understanding the 10 most subtle and powerful forms of manipulation, and most importantly, how you can defend yourself against them. Why is this knowledge crucial? Because we live in an era where manipulation doesn't just come from the people around us, but also from larger omnipresent structures like media and social networks. Knowing these techniques isn't just an act of self-protection. It's a step towards greater autonomy and personal freedom. Today I'll guide you through this labyrinth, showing you how to recognize and neutralize these tactics, from gaslighting that makes you question your reality, to emotional manipulation that plays with your deepest feelings. Together we'll unravel these strategies, providing you with the tools to maintain your power and make decisions that truly reflect your desires and needs. Join me on this journey of discovery and empowerment. If you are new here, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Statistics show that only 3% of my audience is subscribed to the channel. So if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Form number 1: emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation is like an invisible chess game where the pieces are your emotions and the board your mind. Imagine walking through an enchanted forest where each tree represents a different emotion: joy, fear, guilt. Each of these trees can be shaken by someone to make you lose your balance first. It's crucial to understand that emotional manipulation isn't always evident. Often, it's disguised as concern, affection, or even a loaded silence. The manipulator is like a skilled magician in the art of diverting your attention so you don't see what they're really doing. This process begins with small actions or words that seem harmless but gradually envelop you in a web of doubts and fears. A common tactic is the use of guilt. Imagine a friend asking you for a favor, one that's uncomfortable or imprudent. Upon refusal, they respond with a sigh of disappointment and a look that says more than words can express. "I thought we were friends," they say, and suddenly you find yourself questioning your decision, feeling selfish for putting your needs first. Another subtle form of emotional manipulation is fear. Someone might insinuate, without saying it directly, that something bad could happen. If you don't follow their advice or do what they ask, it's like being in a dark room, where the only light comes from the person manipulating you, making you dependent on their guidance and direction. So how can you defend yourself against these tactics? The first step is self-awareness. Take time to know your emotions, to understand what makes you happy, sad, angry, or scared. Like a gardener who knows every plant in their garden, you must know every emotion that blooms within you. This will give you the foundation to recognize when someone is trying to play with them. The second step is to establish clear boundaries. This doesn't mean building an impenetrable wall around yourself, but rather having doors that you can open or close at. We'll learn to say no without feeling guilty and accept that you can't always please everyone. The third step is to seek balance in your relationships. A healthy relationship is like a dance where both participants move at the same pace and with the same respect for each other. If you feel you're always dancing to someone else's tune, it's time to rethink that relationship. Finally, never underestimate the power of honest communication. Confronting someone who emotionally manipulates you isn't easy, but sometimes a simple "I feel this way," or "I'm not comfortable with that" can be enough to change the dynamic. Emotional manipulation is a dark art, but with awareness, clear boundaries, balance, and communication, you can become a master in the art of protecting your emotions. Remember, in the chess game of life, you are the king or queen of your own destiny. Form number 2: beware of logical fallacies. Be alert to arguments that seem logical but are based on fallacies such as personal attacks or generalizations. In the world of argumentation, Logical fallacies are like mirages in a desert. They seem to offer refuge and truth, but as you get closer, they vanish, leaving only confusion and deceit. A logical fallacy occurs when the presented argument lacks a solid foundation, although it may seem reasonable or convincing on the surface. Identifying these fallacies is crucial for navigating the maze of daily communication and protecting oneself against subtle manipulation. A common type of fallacy is the personal attack known in Latin as ad hominem. This occurs when instead of addressing a person's argument, their character or personal attributes are attacked. Imagine you're debating politics, and instead of responding to your points, your opponent begins to criticize your education or past. It's as if instead of playing fair, someone decided to throw sand in your eyes to blind you and steer you away from the real issue. Another frequent fallacy is the hasty generalization. Here, a small sample or personal experience is taken and extended to an entire group. It's as if after seeing one bird fly south, you conclude that all birds in the world fly south. This fallacy feeds on stereotypes and prejudices and is fertile ground for discrimination and misunderstandings. There's also the slippery slope fallacy, which argues that a small first step will inevitably lead to a chain of negative events. It's like saying that if you allow your child to stay up late one night, they will inevitably become a chronic insomniac. This fallacy plays with the fear of future consequences, often exaggerating possible effects to protect yourself from these fallacies. The first step is to educate yourself about them. Knowing their forms and how they manifest in conversation is like having a map in this desert of mirages. When you hear an argument, ask yourself, is it really addressing the central point? Is it based on solid evidence or assumptions? Additionally, developing critical thinking is essential. Don't take everything you hear at face value. Question, analyze, and seek the evidence behind the arguments like a detective in search of the truth. Don't be fooled by appearances. Finally, learn to recognize and avoid using these fallacies in your arguments. Keep your discussions focused on facts and logic, and you'll be contributing to a more honest and productive dialogue. In short, being alert to logical fallacies is like having a compass in a sea of confusing and often deceptive arguments. It keeps you on the path of reason and truth, protecting you from being manipulated by arguments that, although they shine like gold, are in reality as solid as airform. The Per-3 gaslighting detection recognize when someone tries to make you doubt your reality or perception. Gaslighting, or psychological manipulation, is a subtle and often insidious form of emotional manipulation. It's akin to a mental game where the manipulator attempts to sow doubts in the victim's mind about their memory, perception, or sanity. It's like someone slowly moving the furniture around in your house and then denying that anything has changed, making you question your reality. This tactic can take various forms. One of the most common is denial, where the manipulator simply refuses to acknowledge the truth or invalidates your experiences. It's as if you confess to having seen a shooting star, and someone insists you only imagine seeing it, even though you were completely sure of what you saw. Another form of gaslighting is the distortion of facts. The manipulator may twist reality to make you doubt your memories. For example, if you clearly remember a conversation where something was agreed upon, the manipulator might insist it never happened, or that something completely different was said. It's like being in a maze of mirrors where each reflection distorts reality. A bit more, gaslighting can also manifest through trivialization, where your feelings and thoughts are minimized or ridiculed. It's like being told you're making a storm in a teacup over something genuinely concerning or painful to you. To detect and counteract gaslighting, it's important to trust your intuition and your memories. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Keep a record of events, conversations, and your feelings. This can be a journal or notes on your phone. Having a factual record can help you validate your experience and remember the exact details. Moreover, seek support from trusted friends or family members. Often talking to someone outside the situation can provide a clearer perspective and validate your experiences. Self-care and self-affirmation are also vital. Strengthen your self-esteem and remember that you have the right to your thoughts, feelings, and memories. Practicing meditation or talking to a therapist can be greatly helpful in maintaining your emotional well-being. Gaslighting is a form of emotional manipulation that can make you doubt your reality. being informed about how it manifests and developing strategies to trust your perception are crucial steps to protect yourself from this harmful tactic. Remember, your reality is valid and deserves to be heard and respected. Form number 4, awareness of group pressure. Identify when peer or group pressure is used to influence your decisions or beliefs. Group pressure is a powerful force and can manifest in subtle or overt ways, significantly impacting our decisions and beliefs. Often it's as if we're sailing on a choppy sea where the waves of popular opinion threaten to carry us in a direction we don't necessarily want to go. This form of social manipulation relies on our innate desire to belong and be accepted by a group. It can be as simple as dressing a certain way to fit in, or as complex as changing your beliefs or behaviors to align with those of the group. It's as if to avoid being the black sheep. We end up following the flock even if it leads us down a path that's not our own. To maintain awareness and resist group pressure, it's crucial to develop solid self-esteem and self-confidence. Knowing who you are and what you value is like having an anchor in that choppy sea. It keeps you steady even when the waves try to drag you away. Another strategy is to learn to recognize when you're being influenced. Sometimes group pressure is obvious, like when someone explicitly encourages you to do something. Other times, it's more subtle, like when everyone in your social group adopts a certain opinion or lifestyle, and you feel an implicit need to do the same. It's like being in a room where everyone speaks in one tone, and you feel the need to adjust your voice to match them. It's also important to develop skills to say no. Establishing and maintaining boundaries is crucial. You don't have to be unpleasant or confrontational, but being firm and clear in your decisions will help you stay true to yourself. Imagine you're a tree with deep roots. Even when the wind blows hard, your roots keep you in place. Also, seek a support group that respects your individuality, surrounding yourself with people who value diversity of thought and support. Your personal decisions is like finding a safe harbor where you can be yourself, without fear of judgment or pressure. Finally, make decisions based on your own values and principles, not on what's popular or accepted by others. Sometimes this may mean taking the road less traveled, but it's essential for living an authentic and fulfilling life. Being aware of group pressure and learning to manage it is essential for maintaining your personal integrity and making decisions in line with your true values and beliefs. Remember, it's okay to be different and make your own decisions, even if that means not always following the crowd. Form 5. Identification of excessive flattery. Be aware of when flattery is used to gain your trust and then manipulate you. Excessive flattery, that shower of compliments that seems harmless, can be a very cunning tool of manipulation. It's like a sweet, attractive bait hiding a hook underneath when someone showers you with constant praise. It can be easy to get carried away by the stream of good vibes without realizing that you're being primed for deeper manipulation. This type of manipulation plays with our ego and our need to be appreciated and valued. It's as if we're offered a magic mirror that reflects the best version of ourselves, so seductive that we forget to look behind the surface. But it's crucial to remember that when praises are excessive or don't align with reality, there are likely hidden motives behind them. To protect yourself from falling into the trap of excessive flattery, the first step is to develop a healthy self-esteem and a realistic self-assessment. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses gives you a solid foundation to evaluate the praises you receive. It's like having an internal navigation system that tells you when you're on genuine territory and when you've entered the realm of exaggeration. It's also useful to observe the context and frequency of the compliments. If praises come from someone seeking something from you or occur with unusual frequency, there are probably hidden motives. It's like when someone offers you a sweet every time they need a favor. Eventually, you start wondering if they really like you or just want something from you. Maintain a healthy emotional distance when you feel flattery is excessive. Politely thank, but don't get carried away by the praise. Think of it as carrying an umbrella on a sunny day. It may seem unnecessary, but it protects you in case it starts to rain. Seek opinions from people you trust. Sometimes an external perspective can help you see if the praises are genuine or a manipulative tactic. It's like having a second pair of eyes that help you see what you might not be able to see for yourself. Finally, learn to differentiate between sincere compliments and manipulation. Genuine praises are usually specific and relevant to the situation, while excessive flattery tends to be vague, generic, and disproportionate. Excessive flattery can be a subtle but powerful form of manipulation. By having a healthy self-esteem, critically evaluating praises, and maintaining emotional distance, you can protect yourself from being manipulated and keep your relationships based on sincerity and mutual respect. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write mind over body, so I know you reach this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Form number 6, recognition of isolation tactics. Pay attention to situations where someone attempts to isolate you from your friends, family, or colleagues. Isolation is a particularly insidious and effective manipulation tactic by separating you from your support networks, such as friends, family, and colleagues. The manipulator makes you more vulnerable and dependent, facilitating their control over you. Imagine it as being on a deserted island with no one around you. Depend entirely on the person who left you there. The key to recognizing this tactic is to notice subtle or not so subtle changes in your relationships. The manipulator might start questioning your friendships or relationships, sowing doubts about their intentions or loyalty. It's as if they put a magnifying glass over every little crack in your relationships, enlarging it until it becomes an abyss. They may also use more direct tactics, such as demanding you spend more time with them alone, or criticizing and devaluing the people around you. It's as if they're building a wall around you, brick by brick, blocking your view and access to the outside world. To resist these tactics, it's vital to keep your relationships and support networks active even when someone tries to convince you. Otherwise, maintaining regular communication with friends and family is like having lifelines that keep you connected to reality and provide different perspectives. Another strategy is to establish and maintain clear boundaries. If someone tries to control who you associate with or how you spend your time, it's crucial to be firm and clearly communicate your boundaries. Think of it as building your for where you decide who enters and who doesn't. It's also important to trust your instincts. If you feel something is wrong in how someone is influencing your relationships, there's probably some truth to that feeling. Our instinct is like an internal alarm system designed to alert us when something threatens our well-being. Finally, seek external support if you feel you're being isolated. Talking to a counselor, a therapist, or even a trusted friend can provide valuable perspective and help you reaffirm your reality. Recognizing isolation tactics is crucial for maintaining your autonomy and emotional well-being. By keeping open your communication channels and trusting your instincts, you can protect yourself from being isolated and manipulated, ensuring that your relationships are healthy, equitable, and based on mutual respect. Form of 7, alert to ultimatums. Identify when ultimatums are used to force you to make a decision. Under pressure, ultimatums in manipulation are like standing on the edge of a cliff. You feel cornered with a seemingly simple but terrifying choice. A manipulator uses ultimatums to create a sense of urgency and force you to make decisions. Under pressure, limiting your options to what they want. Recognizing this tactic involves being aware of when decisions are presented in an extreme manner. If you really loved me, you would do this, or if you don't do this, then our friendship will end. These statements are like red traffic signals indicating that someone is trying to control your behavior through pressure and coercion. A key characteristic of ultimatums is that they often appear reasonable at first glance, but upon closer inspection, they reveal a lack of respect for your needs and boundaries. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. It may seem harmless at first, but its true nature is much more sinister. To handle Al Adams, it's important to take a moment to breathe and resist the pressure of the moment. You might feel that you have to make a decision immediately, but remember, you almost always have more time than you think. Think of this as pressing the pause button in a video game. It gives you a moment to gather your thoughts and consider your options. Additionally, evaluate the consequences of each option. Ultimatums are often designed to make one option seem much worse than the other. But by examining the long-term consequences, you may find a path that aligns better with your values and needs. It's like looking at a map before choosing a route. It helps you see all the possible directions and their outcomes. Another strategy is to communicate your feelings and boundaries clearly by expressing how the ultimatum affects you and establishing what you are and aren't willing to do. You can reaffirm your autonomy. Think of it as planting your feet firmly on the ground, showing that you're not easily swayed by the wind. Finally, if you find yourself constantly facing ultimatums in a relationship, it might be time to reevaluate that relationship. A healthy, respectful environment shouldn't be filled with threats or pressures to act a certain way. Being alert to ultimatums and learning to effectively manage them is crucial for maintaining your freedom of choice and ensuring that your decisions are based on what's best for you, not on what someone else is trying to impose on you. Stay calm. Consider your options and communicate your boundaries. These are key steps to navigating the tricky waters of ultimatums form. Recognizing blame. Blame is recognized when someone tries to make you feel guilty to control your actions or thoughts. It is a subtle but powerful manipulative tool, like a poison that slowly infiltrates your mind, causing you to doubt yourself and your decisions. To detect blame, it is key to recognize when someone is trying to transfer the responsibility of their actions or emotions to you, making you feel perpetually guilty. This tactic can take many forms, such as someone saying, "You make me feel bad when you don't do what I ask," or "If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have reacted this way." It's like being given a distorted mirror that reflects all your movements as mistakes or faults. To counter blame, it is crucial to assert your own reality, remembering that your feelings and perceptions are valid. Do not let someone else rewrite your story or make you feel responsible for things outside your control. Think of it as holding a shield that protects you from the poisoned arrows of guilt. Practicing self-reflection before accepting blame is a useful strategy. Asking yourself if you are truly responsible for the situation and if the accusation is fair. It's like looking at a map before embarking on a journey, ensuring you are on the right path. Communication also plays a crucial role. Express how you feel when someone unjustly blames you and set clear boundaries. For example, you might say, "I understand you're upset, but I do not accept responsibility for your actions." It's like putting a "do not enter" sign in your emotional garden. Additionally, it is important to surround yourself with supportive and respectful people. A healthy and positive environment is like fertile soil that allows your best to flourish instead of rocky ground, where nothing can grow. In summary, detecting blame is essential for maintaining your emotional and mental well-being. By recognizing and confronting this tactic, you can protect yourself from being manipulated and ensure that your actions and thoughts remain yours, free from the shadow of unjust guilt. Keep your mind clear, your boundaries firm, and your environment healthy to navigate safely through the labyrinth of blame. Form number 9. Awareness of information overload. Be wary of situations where you are overwhelmed with information, often complex or confusing, to hinder your ability to make clear decisions. Information overload is like a storm in your mind. Imagine being in the center of a hurricane of data, facts, and figures, swirling around you in all directions. This can make you feel confused, overwhelmed, and ultimately incapable of making informed, rational decisions. This manipulation tactic relies on flooding you with so much detail that you can't see the forest for the trees. Manipulators use this strategy to disorient you, making you more susceptible to their influences or demands. It's like being given a puzzle with too many pieces, expecting you to give up and let them take control. To protect yourself from this information storm, the first step is to recognize when you are being inundated with too much data. If you find yourself in a situation where the amount of information is overwhelming, take a moment to breathe. It's like pausing in the middle of a frenetic movie to understand the plot. Then try to simplify the information, breaking down the data into smaller, more manageable parts. It's similar to dismantling a complicated engine piece by piece, making it easier to understand and handle. Another effective technique is to ask questions. Clarifying doubts can dispel the fog of confusion. Do not be afraid to say, "I don't understand. Can you explain it differently?" It's like asking someone to turn on a flashlight in a dark room. Seek external opinions or advice. Consulting with an impartial third party can give you a fresh and objective perspective. It's like looking at a map from above, offering a clear view of the landscape. Finally, trust your instincts. If something feels overwhelming or confusing, it could be a sign that you are being manipulated. It's like an internal radar alerting you to potential dangers, being aware of information. Overload is key to maintaining your autonomy and decision-making ability by recognizing, simplifying, asking questions, and seeking advice. You can remain calm in the eye of the informational storm and make decisions that are truly yours.